Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at this. This is fresh from eBay and it was described as a job lot of motherboards, CPUs and graphics cards. Now there wasn't a lot of detail on the listing. All it said was refer to the pictures, and the pictures, they weren't great. I was only able to pick out a few things, but the things I was able to identify, I wanted those for some future projects. So the price was good. I thought, let's get it, we'll take a look at it and we'll see what else is in there. Now credit to the seller for the packaging. It's a lovely solid box, so fingers crossed it's made its journey here okay and everything survived. So let's get it open and we'll see what we've got. Right, I'm going to get this box out of the way. I'll start taking stuff out and we'll get in for a closer look. Okay, first up we've got a motherboard with a CPU and a bit of RAM still on it. Now if I look down here, it's upside down, but you may just be able to see the word Legend-V or Legend 5. So I'm fairly sure this is a QDI motherboard. It's a manufacturer that we don't really hear a lot of, but you know, a typical sort of motherboard for the time. Early AGP, you know, 4 PCI, 3 ISA, usually got 4 and 3 or 5 and 2, you know, one slot shared. Couple of USB on the back, almost certainly USB 1 or 1.1, PS2 keyboard, mouse, serial parallel, etc. No onboard sound. Typical layout as well for this sort of micro ATX form factor. So yeah, nicely laid out. The capacitors look fine with a coin cell on there, so not worrying about leakage or anything like that. Now, I'll turn this round. You can see the north bridge. It looks like there should have been a heatsink on there that's been removed. I'm guessing from the gunk that's on there, so it's a little bit tricky to spot. But I think this is the LX chipset that was on here. I can't read it off there because the gunk that needs cleaning off the chipset's stopping me. Got a 32 meg, was that 100 megahertz I'm guessing? Yep, 32 meg, 100 megahertz SD RAM in there. It's in slot 1, nothing special about that. Well, that's interesting, it says PC66 on that sticker. And that sticker says 100. Well, one of them must be true. Just taking out the Pentium 2 with MMX technology. Now, one thing that I always loved about these was, I know this is just a sticker on the plastic casing, but it's done to look like the you know, like a sort of holographic image of the CPU die. I hope that's coming through on the camera. That looks awesome. You know, we should have more stickers on processors. That's fantastic. Look at that. It's almost like, whoa, look. It's the CPU. There's a little window into it right there. It isn't. It's just a sticker, but it's still cool. Fanless. Good to see. Low noise. I mean, it's a decent size heatsink, but we weren't putting out tons of heat yet at this point. Other than that, not a lot else to say about this. It's a fairly typical board of the time. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, next up we've got another motherboard with a CPU in it. This is an AOPEN AK33. As you can see, it's a bit of a later board. We're down just to 1 serial port rather than 2, and we've now got the what did they call it? Was it the PC97 or something? But when they started colouring everything in to make it a bit easier to plug things in around the back, inbuilt sound. Socket 462, which was the socket that supported the AMD Athlon and Durons. What have we got in here? Let's turn this around and have a look. That is an AMD Duron. Awesome. Let me just have a quick look. Looks like a 750 Well, will you focus again for me now? Yep, looks like a 750 megahertz Duron in there. We're really getting into the time of the capacitor plague here, but quick look on the board. I can't see any obviously bad caps, nothing that's bulging. No, nothing that's bulging too remarkably. Usual thing, couple of PS2 ports, keyboard and mouse, USB, serial parallel, game port, and then the sort of AC97 I think it was with the 3 audio 3.5mm jacks. ISA slots, that's gone. 5 PCI, 1 AGP, I think that'll be 4X at a guess. It's a VIA KT was it the 133 on this? Yeah, it'd be the 133 chipset. So supporting the 133 megahertz bus, which was double pumped, you know, it's like a DDR bus if you like, so effective speed of 266 megahertz. Yeah, quite a cool board for the time. Make a nice base for a sort of AMD Athlon, or as I say, AMD Duron rig, or certainly, you know, towards the earlier end of that. Got some cool writing here on the bottom of the board. This seemed to have some sort of spare real estate once they'd made room for these 3 fixings. It says, we designed this board with pride. So thank you, dudes at Open. Awesome board. I hope it works. Next up, I think moving a little further forward in time again, we've got another motherboard with an AMD CPU on it, another socket 462 board. Had a quick look round the caps. Yeah, they all look fine again, which is slightly worrying. It's odd to see motherboards with caps, you know, not bulging of this age. Of course, just because they're not bulging doesn't mean that they're okay. They're all going to need a proper check. As for what this motherboard is, I'm not quite sure. This motherboard is absolutely covered in silkscreen in writing, and try as I might, I cannot see a maker's name on this. Now, I know you've probably already spotted it and you're probably screaming at the screen saying it's there, you idiot, but the longer I stare at this, the less able I am to see anything. So if I can spot it in the meantime, I'll stick it in the edit at the end. I think this one's seen a fair bit of use. 2 reasons. First, we've got an IKEA battery in here. I don't know if IKEA are a big sort of OEM battery supplier. I'm guessing not. Maybe that's a battery that's run out and somebody's replaced. Having said that, it's nice and clean. Maybe this was an OEM board. I don't know. I mean, there's no, no marking on this Northbridge heatsink, unlike on that last one where AOpen had their logo on it. Also, if we look at this CPU, we can see we've got a little yellow sticker on there, and just there, somebody's written the words OK on there. Just going to get a closer look at it. We'll see what it is. So this looks like a Athlon XP. I think it might be the mobile version of the Athlon XP. It's the 3000 plus model, which obviously this was when AMD were using their model numbering system, so it didn't really run at 3000 megahertz. It ran at 2200, 2300, I think, something like that. And it had been running again on the 266 megahertz bus. So yeah, quite cool. It'd be a Barton core, I think, then. Especially these were the green sort of ceramic substrates. The earlier ones were purple, and then there was that sort of brown colour that we saw that was there in between. But yeah, nice motherboard. Looks good, looks clean. Fingers crossed it all works. We'll have to see if we can dig out some more information on this, and then we'll go from there. Right, moving on. Okay, next up we've got what is almost certainly an OEM board. We've got this Intel based Acer N1996, so probably out of their Aspire range, I'm guessing. We can see we've got this edge connector here. Maybe that was for a riser of some description or something like that. And we've got this quite funky heatsink where we've got the fan on the side rather than the top, sort of blowing air through, I'm guessing. Quite a quirky little motherboard, you know, this sort of square design. No reason why it couldn't be used, in a non-OEM type system. Socket 775, I think. Into the dual channel RAM, but yeah, nothing particularly special about it, I don't think. It looks quite clean, quite well laid out. I'm seeing SATA ports start to creep in now as we're moving further forward. More USB ports on the back. We've got inbuilt VGA. IKEA battery on this one again. Maybe I did them a disservice. Maybe they are a big OEM battery supplier. Just one or two of these caps down here are just getting a little bit bulgy. That'll be something to keep an eye on. You can see, looking at the back, there's the inbuilt VGA. We've got two sets of USB now, inbuilt networking. We've got the matching back plate. Not one I find particularly interesting personally, but cool to have. Let's move on to the next. Okay, we've got quite a bit of documentation with this motherboard. Good old Win DVD. I think between that and Power DVD came with just about every motherboard in the late 90s. ASUS branding on there. Some driver discs. Oh, an Enforce 3 motherboard. Sweet. I think I had an Enforce 2, if I remember, something like that. Look at that, let's look at the case badge in there. Enforce 2 series. Are these discs mixed up? Or is this motherboard having an identity crisis? Right, long and short of it, we've got an ASUS A7V400MX. So another AMD motherboard. Heatsink fan on there. Guess we've got a CPU underneath. Bit weird as I suspected. Not sure what that bundle of stuff was. This is not an Enforce chipset motherboard, obviously. We've got a VIA Southbridge there. What we're looking at here is a KM400 Northbridge, which is basically the VIA 400 chipset with the built-in VIA Chrome graphics, hence the AGP, hence the VGA port you can see on the back here. So probably a sort of slightly lower end, sort of all-in-one type motherboard. You wouldn't really need anything to get this working. As you can see, not quite full size. We've only got the one AGP slot, the three PCI slots, so not tons of expansion ports, but you could buy this, be up and running just with CPU and RAM in there, and then expand your system as need be. More, 4 inbuilt USB ports, Ethernet, sound, just the 2 memory slots again, which suggests more of perhaps a lower to mid-range board rather than a top of the range board. Let's have a look what we've got on here. We have got a Infineon 256 meg DDR400 RAM. That's the CL3, so again, not the particularly faster RAM, not the 2.5 stuff, the 3. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It looks like a nice, tidy little motherboard. I'm not going to take this heatsink and fan off yet, given that these plastic clips around the edge are the sockets that held these on. You snap those off and you're in trouble. We'll have a look at that when we test it. If this works, the BIOS should tell us what CPU we got. Looking at the caps, straight away we can see we've got some leakage on this cap here. See if I can get a closer look at that for you. You can see that leakage right there out of this fella. So before we even think about powering this up, we're going to want to address that. I think, back in the day you could have built a nice little cheap gaming rig out of something like this. Moving on. Next up we have some cards. Hey, the good old Vanta TNT2 M64. Basically a cut down version of the TNT2. We've got a great big cross on the back. Doesn't bode well. I wonder if somebody's tested this and decided that it doesn't work. Not to worry, we'll give it a try, see what it is, see if it works. Well, see what it is. We know what it is. We'll give it a try, see if it works. That's the main thing. Next up, an ATI Radeon VE. Hopefully we don't turn this over and see a great big X on the other side. Nope, so anyway, ATI Radeon 7064 meg. DVI, DDR. So yeah, another AGP card. Nothing particularly special. It's pretty cool nonetheless. Oh, we're going to ICE a card in here. There's a Sound Blaster. The CT4180. Guessing by the rather sparse PCB that this is one of the later cut down ones. Game port on there, line in, mic in and speaker out. So yeah, the CT4180. Is that one of the later Vibra 16 models or what? But hey, ISA sound card, still cool to have. Another AGP graphics card. What is this? Another GeForce 2? Ah, GeForce 2, yeah, MX 464 meg. So again, another one of these sort of lower end models. Nothing wrong with that. We're fine for some Windows 98 gaming. Touch wood, that all works. 32 meg, but 32 meg what? What is it? Nope, don't know. I'll have a look. I'll put the info on in the edit when I find it. Don't know what that is off the top of my head. A Trident. Look at the big old BIOS chip on there. Guessing nothing particularly special, just a Trident VGA card. AGP again. Just getting towards the bottom of the box, nothing particularly interesting here. We just got a bag with a load of memory modules in, various different sizes, capacities, 3 CPUs, most interesting of which is probably this Intel MMX 200 MHz. So there you have it. Unboxing a job lot of stuff from eBay. The motherboards and CPUs, where they've got them and whatnot. 2 or 3 of them, quite interesting boards I think. We're going to do another video in the future where we test those. We'll cross our fingers, hope they work, see if we can address any problems that they might have. Hopefully they don't have any. Got a couple of projects in mind for future videos for those. Graphics cards, mainly low-end stuff as you'd expect, but they'll be absolutely fine for Windows 98 gaming, so it's good to have. Bag of memory, I know I didn't really show it, it's just memory modules, but yeah, that's always useful, so that's great. There's a couple of CPUs, the 200 meg MMX, that's always quite interesting stuff. The other two just later Intels, nothing particularly interesting there. But yeah, there we go. A job lot of stuff on eBay. Little bit of a different video to what I normally put out on the channel, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down in the comments. But for now, I'm just going to say thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.